Welcome back to the channel. This game features Nigel's first round game against Peicho Peev from Bulgaria in the Plovdiv tournament, also held in Bulgaria. The game started as Sicilian defence. And the can variation. Black opts to trade off a set of knights. Now I think bishop e7 is more normal. White prepares the castle queenside. And black looks to be following suit. But then decides to castle kingside, which allows white to build up quite a pawn storm on the king side. And this move's a slight mistake in the fact that white can now play knight to d5. If the pawn takes it, then the bishop can take the knight. And obviously, if black decides to take the pawn and queen takes e4, would win a piece. Take queen to b6 and bishop to d2, but white is better in this position. If he chooses to take the knight with a knight, then something like this, and again, white's threatening queen to h7 check, and also queen takes e6. If you didn't play that, he missed it and played g5, carrying on the pawn storm. Black tries to hold up the pawns. And Nigel opts to take en passant, giving him an open g file, but does leave the h pawn isolated and activate the black bishop. Indirectly attacking the queen. And here black decides to try and reinforce the king side. Maybe d5 striking in the centre would have been a better option. And although white's advanced on the king side, it's difficult to see how he's going to break through. Black seems to be quite solid. So, but Nigel carries on getting all his forces over to the king side. And black just keeps reinforcing. And the first break on e5, and obviously the pawn can't be taken because f takes e5 would pin the bishop to the queen. So black plays the only move he can, which is to retreat the bishop. A nice move from Nigel, centralising the knight. Black really can't allow the knight to stay there. It's too strong, so it has to swap it off his bishop. Hitting the rook. And black centralises his bishop and covers the f6 square, and with an eye on it on b2 as well. And here Nigel decides to put the queen on d1. I think rook to d1 would have been a better option. It looks more natural. As he has to move the queen off the line of the rook anyway. So now black's achieved doubling the rooks. It seems to be out of most of the danger, to be honest. It looks quite equal, the position now. Nigel retreats his bishop and gets it off the d line. And here is probably the most critical mistake of the game. I think black needs to hold up the f5 advance, maybe by something like look to d6, and when f5 finally comes, you can simply retreat the queen. And this would be fine for black, even though white has the e pawn. A lot of pieces come off the board, and I don't think black's in much danger. But Peev decides to allow the f5 advance, which becomes decisive. And this is another mistake. I think he's trying to hold up f6, but I think white can just play f6 anyway, winning the bishop. You could try something along the lines of moving the rook back and then, but in this position, white's still much, much better and probably winning, but this was probably the best black could hope for. But bishop e7 does lose the bishop. So obviously can't take the pawn due to it takes h6 and gets g1 with mate. So he has to play bishop takes f6, but this allows a lovely sacrifice. Can't be taken due to the same thing, whereas the rook and queen combine. And mate will be forced in this position. So black tries to run away with the queen. But again, the pawns can't be taken, the rooks can't be taken. It's just a lovely position for white. Now he's threatening checkmate on h7. And black decides to take one of the rooks, but this is losing. And his queen to g2 will force a significant material advantage. Here, Peev decided to resign. The possible continuation would be something along the lines of queen to g7. And a6 is a nice move to ensure that the rooks has to take the queen. And after this, and then h7 is going to be coming, and one of the black rook is going to have to sacrifice itself for the h pawn, leaving white with a massive material advantage. So a good start to the tournament for Nigel. He wins his first game. Hopefully continues on to try and get his GM norm. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I'll be back with some more games from the Plovdiv tournament in due course.